Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today we're heading to London. Specifically, we're stepping into the Victoria and Albert Museum, or the V&A, as it's often called.
V&A.
This place is incredible. 5,000 years of human creativity, all housed under one roof.
That's right.
We're talking everything from ancient Chinese ceramics to dresses designed by Alexander McQueen.
It really is one of the most diverse museums in the world.
I mean, think about it. You can trace the evolution of art and design through the ages all in one place. And it's not just a bunch of random objects either.
No, not at all.
We're talking world-class masterpieces. For instance, did you know they have one of the largest collections of Islamic art in the world?
That's right. And it's not just the quantity, but the quality, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much to uncover. But you know what I always say?
What's that?
A deep dive wouldn't be complete without venturing outside the museum walls.
I agree. Gotta explore the surroundings.
Right. And luckily for us, this Love to Visit London newsletter has some great suggestions. It recommends checking out nearby Camden,
Camden? Oh, I love Camden.
known for its markets, music, and street art. I've heard it's a whirlwind of sights, sounds, and smells.
It is.
What do you think? Would it be a good fit for someone fresh off a deep dive into the more refined world of the V&A?
That's an interesting question. Camden definitely has a much more raw and vibrant energy. Bustling markets with everything from vintage finds to artisan crafts, live music spilling out from pubs, and of course the street art. It's practically a living museum itself.
I can see that. It's like cleansing your palate with something totally different.
Exactly.
And for those who maybe crave a bit more tranquility after all that stimulation, the newsletter also recommends strolling along the historic canals in Camden.
Oh, yes. The canals.
Imagine that, a peaceful walk after soaking up all that art and history.
Such a nice contrast.
And if you want to continue your journey through time, the Around the Web section has some other interesting suggestions. What do you think about Kensington Palace Gardens?
Oh, they're beautiful.
I hear they've been inspiring writers and artists for generations.
And for good reason. The gardens are just stunning.
Makes sense that they're considered a must-see. But you know me.
Always on the hunt for those hidden gems.
You got it. And it seems like we've struck gold with Leighton House and Sanborn House, both in nearby Holland Park.
I haven't been to Sanborn House, but Leighton House is incredible.
They're described as these perfectly preserved Victorian homes, offering a glimpse into another era.
Leighton House is especially remarkable.
Oh,
It was the home of the artist Frederick Lord Leighton, and it's filled with his personal collection. The Arab Hall is a must-see, intricate mosaics, Islamic-inspired architecture. Truly stunning.
see, that's what I love about these deep dives, uncovering those unexpected connections.
It's all connected.
Speaking of connections, the newsletter also highlights some nearby dining options.
Right?
Scoff and banter Kensington in a Vanderbilt mansion sounds incredibly posh.
Fancy.
But for more local experience, they recommend the Old Town Market, a family-run spot known for its quality food.
I love finding those local spots.
It's almost like choosing between a Michelin-starred experience and a heartwarming home-cooked meal.
Both have their own appeal.
For sure, decisions. But let's not forget why we're here.
The art.
Exactly. The top 5 painting exhibitions recommendation really caught my eye. It describes these figures living on the edge. And the way the artist uses color and light to capture that precariousness is supposed to be fascinating.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
It makes you think about how art can reflect not just individual experiences, but also broader social or historical contexts, right?
Absolutely.
These figures living on the edge, what edge are they on?
Whoa.
What stories are they trying to tell?
So many questions.
It makes you want to dig deeper, doesn't it?
For sure.
And speaking of exploring, this guide to royal palaces, castles, and residences in the UK is making me realize just how much royal history this country holds. It's tempting to get sidetracked and spend the entire trip castle hopping.
I know, right? So much to see.
But before we get carried away with crowns and castles, let's take a virtual detour to Stonehenge.
Oh, Stonehenge.
The From Social Media section features this breathtaking drone shot of the stones against this vast Wiltshire countryside. It's like a glimpse into a time before history, a reminder of the enduring power of these ancient monuments.
Those images are always so powerful.
They really are.
Ah.
Okay, last but certainly not least, we got to talk about food. This section on the beloved British Sunday roast is making my stomach rumble.
The Sunday roast, a classic.
I mean, come on. Succulent roast meat, crispy potatoes, fluffy Yorkshire puddings, and gravy galore.
Don't forget the veggies.
Of course, all the veggies. It's basically a symphony of comfort food. But it's not just about the food itself, right?
No, definitely not.
It's about the ritual, the gathering of loved ones, the sense of connection that a shared meal creates.
It's a tradition that goes way back.
It really speaks volumes about British culture, don't you think?
Definitely. The value placed on family togetherness and, of course, good food.
Okay, but let's circle back to the V&A for a moment.
Back to the museum.
The extra section suggests taking a virtual tour if you can't make it to London in person.
That's a great option.
Imagine being able to zoom in on intricate details, explore different galleries at your own pace, and learn about the collection through interactive features. It's like having a personalized, pocket-sized V&A.
Technology is amazing.
It really is. But I have to ask, does a virtual tour truly capture the essence of being there?
That's the big question, isn't
The
it?
scale of the building, the atmosphere, the feeling of standing in the presence of these masterpieces. Can a screen truly replicate that?
It's tough to say. Virtual tours offer incredible access and convenience, but they can't fully replace the in-person experience.
Right.
There's a certain magic to being physically present, to feeling the weight of history and the emotional impact of art firsthand.
You're so right. It's like the difference between reading about a famous landmark
Hmm.
and actually standing before it, feeling its presence.
Right.
But even with the limitations of a screen,
Right.
a virtual tour could be a fantastic way to whet your appetite, to get a taste of what the V&A has to offer.
Yeah.
And who knows, it might even inspire you to plan that trip to London sooner rather than later.
You just might.
So many possibilities.
That's the beauty of it.
Well said. Well, folks, it looks like we've reached the end of part 1 of our deep dive into the V&A and its surroundings.
But we'll be back soon with more.
Exactly.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, it's a great way to get a feel for the museum before you actually go.
Exactly. And let's not forget the V&A's online collection.
Oh, yes. Their online resources are fantastic.
You can spend hours browsing through digitized artifacts, reading in-depth descriptions, and even creating your own virtual exhibitions.
It's a treasure trove of information.
It really is. But it also highlights the challenge of navigating a museum as massive as the V&A. With so much to see, where do you even begin?
That's the age-old question, isn't it? I think the key is to prioritize.
Prioritize.
Before you even step foot in the museum, think about what interests you the most. Is there a particular period or style you're drawn to? A specific artist or designer you want to see represented? Maybe a specific technique or movement you want to learn more about?
Those are great starting points. And I bet the V&A's website has resources to help narrow down the options. Oh, absolutely. They might even have curated trails or thematic tours that cater to different interests.
Thematic tours.
Yeah, like tours that group objects based on a specific theme, historical period, or artistic movement.
Oh,
For example, they might have a tour focused on the arts and crafts movement, where you'd see furniture, textiles, and decorative objects created by William Morris and his contemporaries.
William Morris. That would be amazing.
Or perhaps a tour focusing on Victorian fashion, where you could see those elaborate gowns and accessories up close.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
Right.
I would love to see those Victorian gowns in person.
Okay.
Imagine the detail, the craftsmanship. It'd be like stepping back in time.
It would be incredible. And that's the beauty of the V&A. It houses such a diverse collection that there's truly something for everyone. You could spend days exploring and still only scratch the surface.
Days, huh? Well, let's be realistic. Most of us don't have days to spend wandering a museum, even one as amazing as the V&A.
So for those with limited time, what are your top tips for making the most of a visit? Okay, well, first of all, stick to your priorities.
Right.
Before you even step foot in the museum, identify the must-see exhibits or pieces that align with your interests. Use the online collection to create a short list, and map out a route that makes the most sense for you.
Makes sense.
And don't be afraid to skip things.
Skip things.
There's no shame in admitting that you can't see everything. It's better to have a focused and enjoyable experience than to try to cram everything in and end up feeling overwhelmed.
That's a good point. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. And remember to take breaks.
Breaks.
Exploring a museum can be mentally and physically tiring.
It can be.
Find a quiet spot to sit, grab a coffee or a snack, and give yourself time to process what you've seen.
That's great advice. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement and forget to pace yourself. Yeah. And while we're talking about practical tips, let's not forget the importance of comfortable shoes.
Oh yes, comfortable shoes are a must.
You'll be doing a lot of walking. So choose footwear that won't leave your feet aching by the end of the day.
So true. And speaking of comfort, let's not forget about the V&A's cafes and restaurants.
Oh, right. They offer a welcome respite from the galleries.
And a chance to refuel with delicious food and drinks.
That reminds me, we were talking earlier about dining options near the museum. Do you have any recommendations for places to eat within the V&A itself?
Absolutely. The V&A has several cafes and restaurants, each with its own unique atmosphere and menu.
Oh.
The Garden Cafe is a lovely spot for a light lunch or afternoon tea, surrounded by lush greenery.
That sounds nice.
And for a more formal dining experience, the Gamble Room offers stunning views of the museum's courtyard.
Both sound fantastic. It's
Yeah.
amazing how they've managed to create such inviting spaces within a historic building. It's like the museum experience extends beyond the galleries themselves.
Exactly. The V&A is more than just a collection of objects. It's a place to connect with history, art, and culture in a multisensory way. From the grand halls to the intimate cafes, every detail is designed to enhance the visitor experience.
And that's what makes the V&A such a special place. It's not just about passively observing. It's about engaging with art and history on a personal level. It's about sparking curiosity, inspiring conversation, and creating lasting memories.
Yeah, it really is about making those personal connections with the art and history. And that's what I hope you take away from this deep dive.
Me too. A sense of excitement and a plan to experience the V&A for yourself, whether it's in person or through their online resources.
Yeah, there's really no excuse not to check it out in some way.
Exactly. And it's not just the V&A itself. The whole surrounding area is a treasure trove. We've talked about the vibrant streets of Camden, the tranquil canals, even those hidden gems like Leighton House.
So much to explore.
It's clear that this area of London has something for everyone who loves art, history, and culture.
Oh,
And let's not forget the food.
food, of course.
We've covered everything from those posh restaurants in Vanderbilt mansions
Very fancy.
to family-run markets and the traditional Sunday roast. It's a reminder that exploring a new place is about immersing yourself in all its senses.
Absolutely. Sight, sound, taste, smell, the whole experience.
Exactly. It all comes together to create those lasting memories. Speaking of memories, I have a feeling a visit to the V&A would be one for the books. Imagine standing before a masterpiece, feeling the weight of history and creativity all around you.
It's truly awe-inspiring.
It would be transformative,
Oh.
but, even if you've been to the V&A before, there's always something new to discover.
That's true.
Their collection is constantly evolving, new exhibitions and displays rotating throughout the year. It's a place that invites you to return again and again.
It's like you can never truly see it all.
So whether you're a seasoned art enthusiast or just starting your journey of discovery, the V&A has something to offer. It's a
Right.
place where you can lose yourself in the beauty of human creation.
And learn and grow and be inspired.
Exactly. You might even discover a hidden passion or a new way of seeing the world.
The power of art.
So what are you waiting for? Start planning your V&A adventure today.
And if you've already been,
We'd love to hear about your experience. What were your highlights? What treasures did you uncover?
share your stories in the comments below.
Until next time, happy exploring.